Chapter 4 beckons. Are you ready? This is the first page of the chapter. Pull up the text to read about what In this chapter, we will learn spells which, used wisely, will give you an edge over other wizards. Keep your wand work sharp, and you'll soon pick up new skills, from stopping enemies in their tracks with a jinx to magically summoning objects. You'll have to be crafty as well as clever if you want to find the next conundrum and find out what makes good wizards into great ones. Don't forget, that will go into the collectibles chapter in your spellbook. You've come a long way. Now's your chance to prove all. The Summoning Charm, an indispensable spell for any witch or wizard. We can learn about the charm here, or turn the page to learn to cast. The Summoning Charm is one of the oldest and one of the most useful you will ever learn. The charm allows wizards to bring objects zooming towards them with the wave of a wand. Most magical objects are now sold carrying anti-theft devices that will prevent them being summoned by any but their owner. There you go. And we've got a story about the charm. Pull up the story, or you can turn the page to start learning the spell itself. Here we go. What tale about the Summoning Charm have we got in store? What do you feel like? Reading the story? Remember, you can always cancel the story anytime by holding circle. The Summoning Charm might seem a very straightforward spell, but its dangers were proven by a band of extremist anti-Muggle wizards, who announced in 1743 that they had declared war on Muggle ways and Muggle behaviour. Calling themselves the Accionites, their stated aim was to live in a manner beyond the petty concerns of Muggles. Their leader was a wizard called Gideon Flatworthy, whom the Daily Prophet famously called less a wizard, more a stupid, lazy, walrus-like object who lies all day on a rather smelly cushion and expects people to admire him for it. Gideon Flatworthy decreed that the Accionites, as their name suggested, ought never to fetch, lift, or carry. For wizards are not like lowly muggles, beasts of burden, but nobler, finer, and higher beings. And that everything they required ought to be summoned by magic. Unfortunately, the Accionites ran into trouble almost immediately. Refusing to do anything as mundane and energetic as visit Gringotts Bank, they swiftly ran out of money. Flatworthy did not believe in working and declared that the only dignified thing to do was to accio more gold. This he attempted to do by pointing his wand in the direction of a nearby goblin workshop. In one sense, his plan worked. Several exquisite pieces of goblin jewellery, as yet unfinished, so without anti-theft charms upon them, came soaring in through the windows of the Accionites' headquarters. The idiotic Flatworthy was still trying to fathom how he might sell his stolen treasures without leaving his cushion, when a horde of angry somethings. What could they be? Indeed, a horde of angry goblin goldsmiths arrived at the doorstep, armed with swords and baying for the Accionites' blood. Flatworthy and his companions disapparated at once and re-established themselves in a dark basement. Aware that they were still being hunted down by fearsome goblins and growing both hungry and thirsty, Flatworthy attempted to summon both food and drink to their basement lair. Naturally, the sight of cakes and wine flying along the streets towards the Accionites' hideout immediately alerted their goblin pursuers to their whereabouts, and they were forced to... What do you think they did? Yes, they disapparated again. This time to a remote cave in Pembrokeshire. By this time, most of the Accionites were becoming disillusioned by Flatworthy's leadership. And most of them decided that they would rather lower themselves to do some muggle-like things, like shopping, working and carrying groceries, rather than starve in a cave. Finally, Flatworthy found himself alone, light-headed with hunger, cold and miserable, but still refusing to admit that he was wrong. Experts still debate what precisely led to his final foolish act. Most agree that he had probably become delirious through lack of food. Although some think that he was determined to die as he had lived. All we know is that on the 18th of September 1743, Flatworthy attempted to summon himself an entire farm complete with livestock, cosy cottage and well-stocked larder. Naturally, the buildings would not shift, but the furious farmer followed his flying cows to the cave on the hill and discovered Flatworthy, still lying on his cushions, but crushed to death beneath a pile of hay bales and cattle. A clear case of careful what you summon. You're finished on this page. Let's learn how to cast the spell. Turn over. Right, time to learn how to cast the summoning charm. You'd better move those books with your wand. Accio. To summon an object, picture the object clearly in your mind and say Accio. Now you try the incantation nice and clearly. 3, 2, 1, go. Good. Let's now take a look at the spell's gesture. Time to learn the wand gesture. Pull up the gesture diagram. To summon an object, make a bump from right to left with your wand. Good stuff. Can you trace the shape again from memory? That's it. With this spell, you point your wand at the item you wish to summon, then press the T button. Good job. Now let's put this spell into practice. Turn the page. Time to hone those summoning skills. Pull up the practice picture to get started. It's time to build up your summoning skills. Remember, as you cast the spell, concentrate your mind on the object you want to summon. This classroom is in a state. Right, we've got a chessboard, but no pieces. Looks like you'll need to summon the chess pieces dotted around the classroom. Yes. Oh, the king. Well done. One down, 2 pieces still to find. Ah, the rook. Nice summoning. You're getting there, 1 piece left. You've got the right spell. Point your wand, then hold the T button. Ah, the knight. Well done. Oh, lovely. My. There's another extra bit of information on this spell. Pull it up if you'd like to read it, or you can just turn the page. Well done, you're building quite a collection of souvenirs. Here we are. Let's see how you did. Wonderful! Take 15 house points for that. Oh, look, there's more to read about this spell. If you're as curious about it as I am, pull up the note with your wand, or you can just turn the page. Once you've mastered this charm, you have the ability to summon any object of which you have need. Providing, of course, that you respect the International Statute of Wizarding Secrecy. Since no object should be summoned if it is likely to whiz under the nose of a muggle. The summoning charm is ineffective on most living creatures, and those that can be summoned are rarely worth summoning, such as flobberworms. It looks like you found a collectible. Well done! It'll be stored in the collectibles chapter, so remember to go and have a look at it later. Quite a display of summoning skill. Well done. Turn the page and let's... The Severing Charm. You have to know what you're doing with this spell. Ready? It's up to you. Pull up the text to learn about this spell, or turn over to start learning to cast it. With the Severing Charm, cutting or tearing objects is a simple matter of wand control. The spell can be quite precise in skilled hands, and the Severing Charm is widely used in a variety of wizarding trades. Useful as it is, this charm should be practiced with caution, as a careless swipe of the wand can easily cause injury. Wise words as ever. Ah, another story. Pull up the picture to read it, or just turn the page if you want to start casting. Here we go. Ready to read a story about this spell? The Severing Charm was created in the 15th century by wizarding seamstress Delphina Crimp, who created it as an easy and convenient way of cutting cloth and thread. Prior to the invention of this neat, precise spell, wizards were apt to burn or shred anything they wished to cut. However, while Madame Crimp's invention benefited her work, it nearly cost her her life. Witches and wizards were subject to persecution in the 15th century, so Madame Crimp, who had become one of the most fashionable dressmakers in London, preferred to pretend that she had no magical powers. Unfortunately, the great beauty of her dresses and cloaks aroused considerable envy among other tailors, many of whom were convinced that she knew some secret that they did not. Even the ugliest. Oh my, what do you think is the answer here? Yes, the ugliest women seemed to look beautiful in her clothes, and Delphina grew richer and more successful every day. A rival Muggle tailor by the name of Snickerton disguised himself and applied for a post in Madame Crimp's shop. After several weeks, he could find no evidence of magic, except for the fact that there were no scissors in Madame Crimp's workroom. At last, by wrapping himself up in a bolt of velvet and keeping watch by night, he observed Madame Crimp cutting out an intricate pattern with the use of her... What would a witch... That's it, she was using her wand. The following day, Snickerton led a band of men to arrest the accused witch. Cornered at her shop, she was unable to explain why she owned no scissors. Snickerton insisted that her hands should be tightly bound to stop her cursing them all, and set about searching for the wand he swore he had seen her using. After several hours, however, he had found nothing suspicious, and his friends were starting to doubt him. At last, Madame Crimp asked whether she might at least be unbound to scratch her chin, on which there was a large wart. Unable to see the harm in this, her foolish accusers agreed. The moment Madame Crimp touched the wart, it sprang out of her face, revealing itself as her concealed wand. She promptly disapparated along with... What would she take with her, do you think? No, that doesn't seem right. Yes, she took a large bag of gold and was never seen in London again. However, from that moment onwards, Snickerton, the tailor, was unable to produce any item of clothing, no matter how securely he locked it up overnight, without finding it shredded to ribbons every morning. Legend has it that he died insane, convinced that he was being followed everywhere by a giant pair of invisible scissors. The lesson here being, never come between a skilled witch and her livelihood. Right, turn the page and let's see about casting the severing charm. A pile of leaves? What a mess. Just brush them away with your hands. Diffindo! The incantation for the severing charm is Diffindo. Use it with care. Now you try the incantation. Nice and clearly. 3, 2, 1. Go. Good. Now let's move on to mastering the spell gesture. Time to learn the wand gesture. Pull up the gesture diagram. The severing charm requires a jagged cutting motion with the wand. Go up, then slash down and right, then up again. Nice. Let's see that gesture again, but drawn from memory this time. That's it. With this spell, you can flick your wand to cut things. Oh, an Abyssinian shrivel fig. Perfect for potioneers. Cut off some of those shoots, would you? Flick your wand to use Diffindo. Flick your wand to slice off some of those shoots for me. Good. He's always come in handy. And that was the last one. Excellent. Oh, you found another collectible. Remember to go and see it in the collectibles chapter later. Another student scribble. Go on, let's see what it says. Hello there. A gnome. Right, let's find out what our mystery scribbler's given you. Flick your wand at the gnome. The disillusionment charm. Interesting stuff. You've disillusioned him. What if he wanders off while he's invisible? Heaven knows what he'll get up to. We can track him from his dirty feet. Our gnome's returning to normal. Didn't like the thought of an invisible gnome hanging about the place. Finished here. Very well. Remember, you can pull up the scribble again if you like. Right, that's Chapter 4, Part 1 done and dusted. Close the book to choose Chapter 4, Part 2, or to revisit another chapter.